This video is brought to you in association with Funded Today. Funded Today helps you get more pledges for your Kickstarter and Indiegogo campaign with professional video and design. Links are in the video description below. Thank you. Let's get on with the show. TALKFUNDING BACKSTORY. And here we are again with William from Pangea and their Bamboo ECO Towel 2.0 live on Kickstarter. I have to say, William, what I'm picking up from your good self and also your teammates in Pangea is passion and really wanting to use your own lives as being part of a mission for a global, sustainable and peaceful future. So fair play to you. I think it's just wonderful product that you've really created, that you've taken it from that moment that you were in South America and that, you all came together and you thought we've got to be part of this solution. And where was the personal moment you had yourself? Where were you then that you were carrying this stuff, this rubbish back, and you realized we need a different way? Isn't that right?
Yeah. So I was in Hawaii, with a really close friend of mine, and it was so beautiful. Like everything in Hawaii is just gorgeous. And we hiked out to this like more secluded beach with some sand dunes. And there were these like 3 huge like laundry baskets just overflowing with trash. And it had been there forever. It was all sun bleached and there was weeds growing through it and everything. And I had been, for the few months previous, I'd been collecting as much trash as I could everywhere I went. I would just put it in my pockets. But this was like absurd. It was like way too much. So I picked it up anyway. And I'm like hiking back like the 2 miles. And I'm just like, I think pretty upset as well, just thinking like, man, like upset just how much work it is, I think. And I'm like sweating. And I was thinking like, this problem is too big. Like, it's just way too big for, me putting trash in my pockets to make any kind of impact. And I need something bigger to help. And that's where we thought, well, what if the business, we had been working on a business with me and the other 2 co-founders. What if the business that we're doing actually could solve this problem? And so that was kind of the moment where it like seeded the idea. And then after many discussions and, ultimately sourcing a new fabric as well and realizing that microfibers were such a huge problem, that's kind of where that pivot came from.
And when was it? Like, how long's this story? How long it has? I know there's been iterations in the company, but like from that moment, was that like 5 or 6 years ago? And now you're well into your second crowdfunding campaign.
That was in February 2019, and then we developed the towel over the next, let's say 6 or 8 months. And then we launched in November of 2019.
Wow.
And then that was the
first one. I see.
Yes.
I thought, my goodness, boy, you guys know what you're doing. That's phenomenal. Well done. Did you have you got a business background, or the co-founders, have you come from having experience in developing products?
Yeah. So the co-founders, we've all done little small businesses, like all sorts of small things, and we're all very like entrepreneurial minded. Marcos actually did like an entrepreneurship course at Harvard for like over a summer. And, my background was really just science. I was just really big in science, and Juan did a whole bunch of different stuff, but I think his like real strength is just execution. Like he's just crazy at like getting things done. So like, all of us together really made an awesome team and one that could get the job done.
Oh, phenomenal. I mean, yeah, I love it. I mean, so that was your first campaign, was really 2019. And then you've engaged with not only engaged, but actually grown your community. And then this campaign's coming out now. Obviously 2020 was a unique year for all of us. And then you've really launched again the second campaign in spring, say, of 2021. Absolutely phenomenal. I think just skipping over the rewards section here, I think it's fair play to you. You're definitely the new style of business, which you're basically in the forefront, you're actually explaining to people on the Kickstarter page, where do your funds go? So I'm really impressed on the Kickstarter page that you've put up about where your funds, where your campaign funds go. It's really a nod to transparency and the direction that we all need to go into, particularly as I read more about the idea of blockchain and accountability. I think it's really, I think the key bit that I like the Kickstarter, the talk funders to look at the Kickstarter campaign page is the use of your profits. Okay, you have to keep a roof over your head, so there's 40% are going to salaries, there's 20% going to your HQ, but 40% of that is going for cleanups, which is what you covered in your campaign video. So it's like giving back. Like that's 40%. It's not like I was brought up with tithing at 10%, but you guys are going 40%. So fair play to you, William, and the Pangea team. Fantastic. Again,
thank you.
This is just covering about what it's made of. I think again, we've covered this really in the deep dive about the benefits of bamboo, etc. I think I'd like to ask you, like, what's your vision of the future? I mean, like, you've 2019 first campaign, first product, 2020 developing your, listening to your community, which is growing, which is actually contributing, which is actually volunteering, the cleanups and everything. Superb. Spring 2021, second iteration of your towels going. Like, you've sort of hinted at, where would you like to see Pangea going? I mean, are you going to roll out another form of products in your third? I get you'll roll out more products besides it, but also certainly from your intellectual background, you're obviously going to go look at different areas as well. Could you say something about that, please, William?
Absolutely. And this is the perfect infographic to really explain that, which is the 3 layers. So the first campaign, we went for the easiest problem to solve that we could, which was just pick up the trash that we see, right? It's so obvious. It's really, it just makes sense. But that's not really like a solution, right? Like, what if, let's say you turn on the faucet and the water is flowing and the sink is backed up and there's water, pouring out onto the floor. You wouldn't start like trying to pick up the water off the floor. So we had to do that because we didn't have the resources for a bigger solution. Now on this second campaign, we did all these amazing cleanups with like 700 volunteers around the world. It was absolutely phenomenal and a real growth experience for us. But through that experience, we learned, well, what we really want to do is actually prevent this trash from getting out here in the first place. We don't want to do thousands of cleanups on all the beaches around the world. We actually want to stop the trash from getting there. So that's where we partnered with Gary, and now we're putting river barriers in basically the dirtiest rivers in the world in terms of trash pollution in the ocean. So we're really maximizing the biggest impact we can have per dollar. And then the next campaign, it's kind of like a little sneak peek, but we're developing a jacket. And it's going to be made from recycled plastic, but it's also going to come with a bag that can capture microfibers. So we're going to give people then the ability to eliminate their, we all have plastic fibers in our closets and in our homes. So it's going to empower people to eliminate their impact on the microfiber problem going out into the oceans and rivers. And then hopefully on the next campaign, I don't know if we'll be able to do it yet, but hopefully we'll be able to start doing some of these like actual solutions, which is like changing the legislation around single-use plastics, changing the legislation around microfibers. If anyone knows of any legislation happening in any country regarding microfibers or requiring companies to filter or something, please let me know. I'm totally interested in that. But the most immediate initiative that I have a very close friend working on, actually she was her company, which is a nonprofit, was responsible for fundraising the amount of money that it took to get people in California to sign a bill onto the ballot that would make single-use plastics in California not really illegal, but the responsibility of the producers. So how it is now is like if Coca-Cola or Pepsi, if we find tons of their bottles in the environment, there's no like legal standing to sue them for damages to the environment. But if this bill passes it'll be on the ballot in 2022, then it would give that ability to then collectively audit all this trash, do a huge cleanup, find what's in the environment, and say, well, oh, okay, 40% of this trash is Pepsi. We're going to now sue Pepsi California is the 8th largest economy in the world. And it's going to really drive this incentive for single-use plastic producers to find an alternative, right? The idea is not to destroy the economy and like ruin all, but the idea is there are alternatives, right? With a little bit of R&D, not a little, with a lot of R&D and investment, and with the right incentive, companies will switch and they will use something else rather than these single-use plastics, which we're finding everywhere in the environment and never really seem to break down. So I hope on the next campaign we can fundraise for that. But we'll see. We'll just, everything we do is what our backers ask us to do and what they want. So we will ask them what initiative they want to fund. And if they really like that, then we will do that on the next campaign. If there's maybe something else more immediate, or if they want to do more river barriers, we'll do that. So it just depends, but hopefully soon we'll be able to change some laws as well.
Wow. Okay. This is a whole new area of discussion, but maybe for another day. It's phenomenal what you're doing. First of all, shout out to Talk Funders. Please come back pre-launch, William, and I will sing your praises, Pangea's praises from the rooftop. Yes, so please come back pre-launch for your third one. And a shout out to any legislators who are in the sustainable any form of legal entity who can help Pangea inform their debate of these really important topics. Fascinating what you're saying about California. Again, we're all on a learning journey here of Talk Funding about really understanding what global sustainable peace now is all about. And you guys Pangea is a shining example of that, the global sustainable peace, man. It is phenomenal what you're doing. I just like to finish off here at this, going back to this pledge of, for say $3,000, we build your home barrier and a free trip. I mean, here it is, you can deploy on the Sungai. How do you say the river? This is the most polluted river, is it?
No, so Sungai Watch is the organization.
Oh, it's organization. That's right.
Yes. The most polluted river is the Citarium River. And
where is the Citarium River? Is it in Indonesia?
It is. It's in Indonesia on the island of Java.
Ah, okay. So fantastic. And there's your team in Indonesia, and you're based in Indonesia.
Yes. There's some freelancers on that list, or people that work remotely, but our headquarters and our team is here, and we'll stay here. This is kind of like a little bit of ground zero for the ocean plastic problem. So we'll stay here, I think, for the foreseeable future, for the next few years.
And just to finish off the backstory, I just want to read out your statement here. We believe that flags and borders are just an illusion. We are all one, united in our mission to clean the planet and co-create a better world. What a fantastic way to end our interview, our series of interviews, William, from Pangea. Thank you so much. I'll just remind the Talk Funders at the top of the page here. Pangea is live on Kickstarter with their Bamboo Eco Towel 2.0. Thank you so much, William. And all the links are in the video description below. So thank you very much, William, from Pangea. Awesome.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye, my friend.